Hello and welcome to Charter Local Edition Northwest. I'm Dana Cowley and my guest today is Tim Arntzen, the Executive Director of the Port of Kennewick. Tim, thanks so much for coming and joining us on the set.
You're welcome, my pleasure.
Today you'd like to discuss Vista Field, and you've got quite a bit of controversy going on with the field these days.
Yes, exactly. For a number of years, 10, 20 years, this has been kind of a hot button topic for the community. And I guess where we're at now is the Port Commission has decided to drill down and get some real economic and other data related to Vista Field, what it's doing now, what its future could be. And this process has included a wide range of public commentators, citizens, pilots, stakeholders, everybody and anybody. It's been kind of a neat process.
Well, and Vista Field has been there for decades.
It has.
What prompted the port to take action and dive into this now?
You know, that's a good question. It was about July of last year when the port was negotiating with a fixed base operator, somebody that would come in and run the airport for the port. And that process allowed the private sector party that was negotiating with the port to put together some data and numbers on the costs of Vista Field. And when the port got back the cost estimate from the private sector on what it would take to run Vista Field, it was an eye-opener, frankly. We'd been struggling with it for years and years, and it was interesting to see the private sector put some numbers to it, put some math to it as to what it would cost. And it was a very, very high number. And
can you share that with us?
It was in the range of $20 to $30 million to run the airport over a 20-year contract period. So roughly $1 million a year that the port would have to pay for the contractor to come in and run the airport pretty much as is with a few improvements. And at that point, the Port Commission said, you know, this is a very, very costly proposition. And at that point, they decided to take a wider view of it and just ask the community what the community thought should be done with Vista Field, hence leading up to the environmental impact statement and study, the public scoping process that we've been going through.
And you also had a consultant to come to assist you too.
Exactly, yes. The consulting team is a well-recognized firm nationally. They are headquartered in Portland, Oregon, and they've come out, they've assembled a team of experts, planners, economists, aviation experts to really drill down and take a look at all phases of the Vista Field operation, compare it to other airports in the country that are thriving, and to see what could be done at Vista Field, what could be done, if anything, to move it into that category.
And they came back and gave you some results.
They did. They came back with three alternatives. One is to expand the airport with a massive infusion of capital, taxpayers' funding, and that one was about a $42 million infusion of taxpayers' funds to get that airport up and running the way that it potentially could run. That's called the expand alternative. Second alternative was to look at what would happen if you closed the airport and redeveloped it. And that one showed a net gain of about $500 million worth of private sector investment. And that would be a kind of a pay-as-you-go from the port's perspective, so that would not require taxpayer funding. And then the third alternative they looked at was the no-action alternative. In other words, just run the airport as is, where is. And really the conclusion there was that that one was the one that got the most universal support from the pilots and the taxpayers, that they did not want the no-action alternative. And it does seem, it does seem of you know, kind of basic intelligence with that, because if the no-action alternative was so good, why would we be, you know, getting to this study and having the, 20 years of history of people being disappointed with the no-action alternative?
Right, just having more carry on. Well, now you have all these options on the table. It's going to be very exciting to see what comes next. Tim, we thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Tim Arntzen, the Executive Director of the Port of Kennewick. I'm Dana Cowley. Thank you for watching. This is Charter Local Edition Northwest.